This program is intended for informational purposes only and does not contain medical advice. As always, please contact your physician or qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
You gonna learn to respect me. Women should never have any support for anything that governs their body.
What do you hold close to the vest?
Ooh, women have to stop centering men.
High value man or high earning man?
Oh.
Hot and Bothered podcast.
I cannot close my eye to the perils that go on with Black people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Black trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Black female presenting. I'm fat and Black.
Mm.
I'm loud and Black. I'm Black and damn Black.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many areas that I cover that I can't close my eyes and say, oh, well, that's happening to him. That don't have nothing to do with me.
No, you have way too much intersectionality going on just with
this
all
happening
of
to her. That don't got nothing to do with me. Oh, well, that's a gay man. They don't have anything to. Oh, well, it all has something to do with me. It all affects me, and when people understand that it affects us all. When I watched Trump do the things he did about the passport, and then I looked at the real agenda was when women get married.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did. Speak on it.
I watched how he used that but that was just a catalyst to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It was all about voter suppression.
Yes. Yes. So if you guys have not heard this, there was an executive order introduced where women who have taken their husband's name, they are trying to make it so that they can't vote because they don't have the government name that they.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why it looked good to focus on, well, it's only male and female. And let's fix their passports up. Let's start focusing on the passports because it was just about identification. I'm like, what is the real? I kept saying to myself, there has to be something bigger here. It gotta be something bigger because what is the focus?
Yeah.
When that came out, I said,
Yeah. Yeah.
got it. Do not fall victim to these political ploys. Anything that is sensationalized, where it's making you feel like that it's okay for something to be going on to a marginalized group of people, it's not.
Yeah, because there's going to be
a bigger picture.
There's going to be bigger picture and overflow.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, take me through the day that when you decided to create that video, was there a moment, was there a catalyst for that happening?
George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis. At the same time that he was being murdered, there was a trans woman being beaten in the gas station by a bunch of females and black females and Black men.
Okay.
I watched it. And I was like, wait, all while this is going on to George Floyd, we got the time to be beating up on a queen, on a trans girl. We got the time to be dogpiling on a trans girl when we need to be really dogpiling on these crockers out here. We're really doing this right now. And I watched him hold her head and just beat her. And I was like, that could have been me. That could have been you. You know? As a woman. And I'm like, bro, I'm angry about this. I'm mad because nobody was angry about it. Nobody else was.
There was no uproar about it.
There's no uproar about it.
So do you think that George Floyd, in the response to George Floyd, drowned that out?
I think that, listen, anytime...
Or that it wouldn't have gotten attention no matter what was happening?
It was never going to get the same attention because anytime that something happens to a Black transgender woman, it's nothing.
You know, it's interesting. Have you ever heard of the term no human involved?
Yes.
So that's a term that the worst of law enforcement use when
For-
they come upon a homicide scene
Of
and it
prostitutes.
involves prostitutes, or it involves trans folks, or if it involves the unhoused.
Yep.
That is a term that the most disgusting people in law enforcement use.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Again, it speaks to me saying that once you can they've dehumanized sex workers. How hurtful is that? To know you as a human being, and let's say a family member of yours, a sister, a cousin, someone that you love deeply has been murdered.
And that's the initial response from law enforcement responding to the scene.
No human
that
involved.
would be I wouldn't know what to do with my rage. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Right.
It's similar to the way that I think a lot of people feel right now, helpless and rageful. But I wouldn't know where to put it.
So I put it in a video. I went downstairs. I was angry. I put on the biggest afro, the biggest nappy.
You sure did. And
Baby,
you were
that
like,
thing
I
was
ain't combing that shit
sister,
out.
That shit was so nappy. It was so nappy. And then I put on a cheetah print. Like, honey, this is from the jungles of Africa. And I went down there and I just ranted and ranted and ranted. And my video editor, Oliver, edited the video. And we put it out. And once the video came out, Beyonce.
Before we get to Beyonce, take me through the response. Because I'm sure that it hit like a ton of bricks.
It did.
And the response that came
like,
in.
The people was like, wow. Like, it was a lot of that. It was so many people that I was like, shit.
I don't know what kind, and not to cut you, I just want to say that I don't know what kind of human you are that lacks empathy or sympathy that isn't touched by what you said.
Yes.
You know, I found myself getting extraordinarily emotional and crying when I watched it, because your pain radiated off of you, and it juxtaposed to the image that you present, which is so strong, so tenacious, so resilient, just take no shit.
Yeah.
You could see that
I
the
meant every
exhaustion
word.
had
I was
seeped
like,
into your
I
bones.
was like, I'm so tired. And I said, let me hit him first with a little
Honey.
honey.
Because you got to give them honey with their
Yeah, you
medicine.
got to. And then they got to swallow it. You know? Bitch, I'm black. Bitch, I'm Rodney King black. Bitch, I'm black pepper black. Bitch, I'm bologna sandwiches black. Bitch, I'm motherfucking black hot dogs on one side and crispy black. Bitch, I'm so black I don't want to comb the naps out of these goddamn, I was really deep. And then I told them, with all of that black, I'm tired of being that black and have to turn to that black and be hurt by that black. I'm tired of that. We that black. We're that black.
We're in a similar situation, being cisgendered women, the gender wars, that you cannot log on to social media these days without there being some kind of post that initiates a gender war in the comments. Heck, girl, I'm tired.
I'm tired of it.
I'm so tired, and I'm just watching us get further and further and further away from each other.
And watching them get further and further and further bigger.
And watching them get more and more and more powerful.
Yes.
Exactly. Because the division between it's just so easy to ignite.
It's easy. I said it on my page. If you want to get a racist and a black person together, throw some gender shit in there.
Yeah.
They'll get right together. Women should never, ever have any support for anything that governs their body. For any government place that governs their body. I cuss Caitlyn Jenner, athlete's foot having ass, big bunion toe, Paul Bunyan foot ass. Because that bitch got up there and said, well, I'm for if the state of Texas and they want to ban abortion, I'm all for that. And I'm like, nigga, you a nigga. And you over here supporting what they're doing to women? Like, bitch, you not posing as one? Because you do know that the moment that Roe versus Wade gets chopped all up, that them nuts that you done got chopped up don't mean nothing.
Right.
Homie, I don't play with that white hoe.
And you know what's so interesting about Caitlyn is that, just going back to the allyship conversation, women cheered Caitlyn on. Yes, girl. You know, you're so brave to finally live your authentic life. We were all for it. So that was another moment where we were just like, wait, hold on one second here. What? Like, where our allyship was kind of
Sister,
just kind of like
you a
kicked back
black
in our
woman.
face.
Cheer your black trans sisters on. That white bitch chose whiteness.
She did.
That white bitch chose whiteness.
She did.
At the beginning, middle, and end of the day, that white bitch chose whiteness.
I thought that it was just so jarring because I'm just like, you.
It didn't jar me. Bitch, you a Jenner. You a Kardashian. Those Kardashians chose whiteness over their black children. When the fires was over there burning up in LA right now, they was using 500,000 gallons of water. Bitch couldn't put the damn forest fire out because they was over there bathing.
It is a fact.
Listen.
You know, I saw it was an article. There was a whole article devoted to the fact that their water usage during a drought. I've lived in California for many, many years.
I don't play with them, girl.
And it is.
I don't play with them because
Droughts are real.
I think that they have profited off of the backs of black from inception. Ray J put that long black dick in that girl and she screamed and hollered and her mammy had that camera, holding the camera while she, and then they made Ray J the demon.
They sure did.
He was tearing your pussy up, lady. But they made Ray J the monster.
Yeah.
They made Ray J the problem. Your legs went behind your ear. I laid next to you, lady, while Ray J was tearing that motherfucking pussy. So then they demonized him.
They did.
He gave them those. Then Kanye went over there. Done turned Kanye walking around with a swastika on his chest. He's still under that Kardashian. It ain't even voodoo they was using. It's that goddamn
whatever it is.
Those wicks of wisdom.
Yeah, it seems to be all powerful.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's move on to talk.
You don't want me to read them no more?
No, it's okay. Let's talk about a real black queen, Beyonce.
Yes.
Okay. So
That's why Beyonce don't.
Take me through the call from B's people.
Well, it was an email.
Okay.
So they emailed me about wanting to sample Bitch I'm Black a year before, like right after it came out.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But it was Masters. It was another company that came.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. Okay. A year went by, didn't hear nothing. So I was sitting down at what's that chick's place that I think Nas owns it? Sweet Chicks in LA?
Possible. Not familiar. Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it was whatever chicken spot that I think Nas or somebody on. So I'm in there and I was sitting down with Carice, and Carice said, Carice name's Carice Smith. So Carice said, you know, your voice was used and they played it in Croatia, and the people were going crazy in Croatia. So I'm eating my chicken. I was like, yeah, child. Then I came. I was like, well, how you know my voice was used? He said, oh, I worked a little bit on the project. So I was like, what project? I went back to eat my chicken. And then I came back again. I was like, well, why would it be played in Croatia? So the wheels started turning. What artist? This has to be an artist. What artist? Who's pro-black like that? I was like, well, I know Kendrick Lamar is pro-black like that, but I don't know if he know anything about me. So as a kid, I'm like, nah. Then I was like, okay. A whole year went. July 22nd, I was sitting next to RuPaul.
Okay.
Because, I'm a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Congratulations on the Emmy.
Thank you. So I'm sitting next to Ru, and so we were on commercial break, and I said, Ru, did you see Beyonce done cleared out her, she took everything off of social media? She said, yeah, girl, I think they're getting ready to do a Destiny's Child album. And Ru is mother, so I'm like, oh, she knows. You get all the tea. So I was like, I hope so, because I can't wait to see them get, I can't wait to, girl. And I remember saying, Ru, she always used Frida. She always used Big Frida. I really wish one time she would use me. I didn't know.
You think that counts as manifestation?
Girl.
Okay.
I was like, I just wish one time. Just once that she would use me. Left, said, went to Costa Rica, was in Costa Rica, and my email just going and going, saying, hey, we need clearance for song 2. I was like, what is song 2? What are you talking about? What is song 2? Still hadn't looked at the bottom of the email where the email come from.
Okay.
And I'm like, because the Wi-Fi was bad. And so I'm like, girl, what? Honey, next day, we need clearance for song 2.
But are they saying whose song it is?
They saying song 2.
Okay.
I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. So I told my manager, read the email and tell me what's the tea. So she read the email, whatever. And then she said, does it say Parkwood at the bottom? I was like, Parkwood?
And if you're a Beyonce fan, you know what Parkwood is.
I said, Parkwood? I said, girl, ask them how much money they got.
You know what? And I think a lot of people would be afraid to ask that. They'd just be really happy that it was Beyonce.
I love my Beyonce.
Yes, but
I love my Beyonce. I love my Ru. I love my Tyler. I love all my.
That's
folks.
one of my favorite videos of you.
Yes, I love my.
You ain't even talking. Just
give me my mom.
I love my peoples. I do.
Yes, but you like money too.
I gotta live.
Gotta live.
I gotta remember. I'm black and trans. You want me to give myself away anyway, because I'm not human anyway. So I have the basic human necessities. I need to pay my bills. I need to eat. I need to look good. I need to do everything you need to do. So how much you got?
Yeah. Okay. I almost
Once that happened,
what the question,
and
what the answer
my
is.
lawyers, they lawyers is another, and here we are today.
Okay.
And I love my Beyonce. Beyonce all on his mouth like liquor.
So would it be fair to say that they paid you handsomely?
Very much so.
Okay. How was just the experience afterwards?
It was an amazing experience. Beyonce's team took care of me. They we're still good friends, good communication. I had the opportunity to meet Beyonce and had a good meeting with Beyonce. My first words to her was, "Bitch." They say Beyonce all on his mouth like liquor.
And what was her response?
We hugged on each other and laughed, and because she's a human, she's a human being.
Yeah, and she comes across as extraordinarily, genuinely sweet.
She's
a Virgo, so she's about her business.
She's a human,
but she seems very sweet and kind
and a human.
Why do you keep saying human?
Because that nasty shit those people be saying about her, and so she see that. She see that nasty shit they say about her daughter, her kids, and all this stuff, that all the things, how they get into her family business. She see that. People are human. So when you see a bitch lash, like, because I'm a lash on your ass.
You will respond. She will not.
No, well, in her music, she
in
does.
her music, yes, she absolutely responds.
And here's the thing.
With the sledgehammer.
She with a bat that says hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
In her music, she does, because that is where, that's her craft. My craft has been on the internet. So I respond in my craft. You motherfuckers get over there if you want to and think that you ain't, you fuck with a heavyweight. I'm like Della Reese in this bitch. You gonna learn to respect me or I'm gonna kick your ass again.
If y'all youngins do not know what that is from Harlem Nights. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor and just watch all the Eddie Murphy's movies back in the day. Okay, so the Breakfast Club interview. You guys got to talking about Sydney Starr.
Yes.
Who is somebody that I became familiar with maybe around the same time as you, having been on Hollywood Unlocked Uncensored.
Yes.
You know, we had everybody up there.
Yes.
And, you know, Sydney was, you know, bright and charismatic and loquacious and all the things. But Sydney kind of gets, maybe she, part of her reputation is there's an attachment that she has outed people that she has dated in the past. And I feel like, or I've been told that there are some social media pages that are dedicated to outing specifically DL men. I kind of just want to get your thoughts around that whole subject.
Here's the thing.
And then I have a very real personal question to ask you.
Got you. Sydney Starr is it's her name. She's searching for her star, and she's Sydney. I think that she was young, and at the time when she was when these media got on her, you know, she's very passable, and so everybody looking at her is like, that's not a. She wasn't. There's no possible way that she could be born male. She you know. Especially in her youth, she was very, 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 like, nobody believed it. And so it became sensational like that. And after that, you know, that's what we found her from. And then, you know, other stories trickled around or whatever. I don't really have no pressure with Sydney. There's certain things that I don't like just as of recent that she did that I told her specifically that I didn't like, you know, and that, you know, I'm still wavering out if I want to, you know what I'm saying? Check her in her face, like check her like homegirl. But I looked at her as my niece, and I felt like that she didn't have enough older guidance because she for a while she lived stealth, and her living stealth. I don't know if she had gay mamas or gay whatever to be like, girl, you know, to guide her through, or if she had a stealth gay mom. I don't know, but you know. That's how she built her career, and hey, you know, that's not how I built mine. I was an adult film person, so the men that came and did adult film with me, they had to suck my dick without no mask on, cause bitch, you was not finna be sitting up here acting like that you don't like the girls. It's not working over here. You gonna fuck me and you gonna suck this dick, bitch, and you gonna look at this. You gonna look at that camera and say, "Ooh, suck it to me like you want to." Ooh. Because you're not finna sit over here and give this illusion that you don't like the girls. Now, granted, that made me a very popular girl because I am a well-endowed chick.
I've heard, yes.
Shut up, bro. I'm a well-endowed chick.
This got discussed the last time we spoke, and I tell you, jaw, lap, stayed there. I was like,
hush up. So I'm a very well-endowed chick, so that happens, you know. So, but I wasn't out at anybody. We were doing business.
yes.
Now I have clientele with gentlemen who have names for themselves, but we did business, and in business, you pay for a service is rendered, we going on about our business. So there's no feelings and emotions and anything involved that will have me, you know, I'm in a different place now. I don't protect men that are on the DL, but I also am not
Going out of your way to
point them out.
Okay.
I'm just like, nigga, long as we got an establishment and long as you don't breach our contract, we don't got no problems.
Yeah.
But you breach our contract and you do some ill shit to me, I don't want to use this as a weapon against you. Just don't do no ill shit. Don't
force my hand.
Bitch, don't you draw a gun on me and think I won't pull a Uzi out.
Right.
Like, don't do that. Because men think that, you know, I can mess around with the girls, but I can also steal their purse. I can mess around with the girls, I can steal their car. They do it to women. I can fuck one of the girls and I could, but if a dude fuck around with you and steal something from you or whatever, and you be like, yeah, I was fucking with that nigga, he stole my bag, or he did some ill shit to me, they're gonna be empathetic with you because you're a natural born woman. With me, it's gonna be like, well, did he know? Yeah, bitch, he knew. He took my fucking pocketbook after he ate my ass. He took my purse when he was staying in my house with me, when he was living with me, and he had nowhere to go until he, found him, whoever he was fucking with, and now all of a sudden he's a hetero. No, you don't have the opportunity to go over here and live your full heterosexual life, and you done did some ill shit to me. So don't do no ill shit, and no ill shit won't be done to you.
I heard a term used, Malik Yoba, who I adore. He's a great actor, great person. But he, was making the rounds, doing interviews.
With Carmen?
Well, yeah, and he used the term trans attractive.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that term? Was it just kind of like...
No, there are men who are... Well, here's the thing. He used the term trans attractive. I'm in an evolving state.
Okay.
Even at almost 50.
Okay. Wait, listen. If you will die the day that you stop growing and stop being intellectually curious and learning. That is what we are here on this earth to do. You can learn something at 80. You know?
There are trans attracted men who they like trans women, and they also like biological women. But I look at it from this lens. If we are both presenting as women and you find both of us attractive, aren't you just attracted to women?
Well, that's where the question I had was when I heard that term.
Okay.
Because you can, identify as a trans woman and you could have taken all the hormones and stuff, but you may not have had full...
An SRS.
Yeah.
Sexual reassignment surgery.
Exactly. And so... right there is the caveat.
Well,
it's the asterisk, if you will.
Well, here's what happens. There are men that are not just going to reduce or deduce us to anatomy or to our genitalia, Like when you first meet a woman and you take her out on a date and y'all having a good time, you don't know what your assumption is that she has a vagina because she's female presenting. You tell a man, hey, I haven't had an SRS surgery. Here's where we are again. I love you. Sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity are all separate entities. When you start to say, okay, I'm going to give you an example from my.
Okay.
Maybe this will help you understand.
Okay.
I dated a gentleman for about 3 months. I didn't know that the gentleman was a trans man.
Had he had his reassignment surgery?
He didn't have I didn't know because we were dating.
Okay.
And so we hadn't got to the sexual part of the situation.
But he didn't lead with I'm a trans man?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He did not.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
He did not lead with that. And so that's why I was a little bit kind of disturbed afterwards. And I don't do that. And so when we were in the situation, like once everything got revealed, I was like, so now we got to start talking about genitalia because I've never had
vagina.
I've never had that. So I know how to fuck. So I guess it'll be.
Yeah,
but I've
peg
never
A goes into slot
the B. That's
right.
it. So I've never
right.
had that type of attraction. So, but I'm here now. Now I'm emotionally involved, and I'm spiritually involved, and I would like to explore how do we do this? And so he had restrictions. His restrictions was I don't want to see your dick. He came from the perspective of a cisgendered heterosexual male.
Okay.
I don't want to see your dick. You need to put that up. I don't need to see it. I need you face down.
I'm sitting here like the gall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wait, he wants you face down.
Yeah.
So he can put a strap on?
Yes. Yes. And I was willing to do compromises with things until Like, hey, nah, bro.
You don't give me bottom.
Nah, bro. No. Oh, I am.
Okay, I don't know. Like
But
again, learning experience. Experience.
Listen.
You know,
I love
her energy she gives.
I
like,
love
I will handle your ass.
Now, I will handle.
You know what I'm saying?
But I loves the dick though.
Okay.
Oh,
all
I
right,
love.
okay.
Listen, that's what I want. That's what I'm into men for is the dick. I don't.
Man, this is
This
is so fascinating.
A big booty man is cute to look at.
Yeah.
But where's the dick?
That's what I be asking, honestly.
Where the dick at? But for me, like, I had to be a top for work because that was the fetish part about it. That was the fantasy about the shit. It was just like, oh, I want the trans. Men that I deal with, that I deal with in my personal life.
You want to be submissive.
Yes. If they
you want to be a kitten.
If they coming for the cop, that's not my husband.
Right.
We finna freak. We finna get a session. I'm gonna bust mine. I'm gonna bust my nut. But I'm not going to marry you. Because now you've deduced, you've gotten right here. This is where we at. You want this cock. Okay? You can get it. 2 hands, nigga. But but that's not gonna be my husband. I don't want to marry. I don't, you know. So with him as the trans man, I was like, you have these rules and regulations, you have these stipulations now. So I'm gonna hit you with the nigga, I got him a dick for both of us. So what we doing?
So I'm assuming that relationship just kind of fizzled out.
It fizzled out,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
Because I told him.
It didn't sound like it was gonna.
Melyssa.
It had much longevity.
Melyssa.
Yeah. I mean, it started on a lie. It kind of started on a lie.
And then once it...
Okay, you know what? Maybe not a lie, because guys like to get away with this. It was an omission of facts. It's still a motherfucking lie.
Yeah.
That's still lying.
But I didn't search though, because surface, I thought that he was a gentleman. So I didn't really, but if now here's, who's at fault here? Come on, see? I can hold myself accountable too.
So then can I ask you this question that I wanted to
Yes.
ask? That's the personal question. It's personal, I think, to me, and, you know, maybe the women in my women in my audience, the women who identify as women, biological women. There's a lot of terminology that I want to make sure that I am very clear on. So as a straight cisgendered woman, am I allowed to express a legitimate concern about dating men who date trans women and aren't upfront about it?
You want my honest?
Yes.
I'm on the fence with that.
Tell me why.
Well, because women tend to demonize men that have had an experience with the girls or have you can't demonize a gentleman for finding beauty in something or in someone, because here's the thing, in my situation with him, I had never been with a trans man before, but my feelings, emotions, spirit had gotten involved. But then when it got down to the sex part, the masculinity in him told me, I don't want to see that and cover that up and and which shifted everything, because it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have to compromise with something here.
Yeah.
So I can see a man having an experience with a trans woman that he finds attractive, that he connects with spiritually, emotionally, and then when it comes to the physical aspect of it, and he tells her, hey, I ain't never did none of this kind of shit before, because this happens all the time to us as girls. I ain't never did none of this before. I've only dealt with biological women all my life. I don't know how comfortable this is, but we've connected in so many different places now. What we gonna do? And you know, I possibly would submit to that. Like I would definitely submit to that, because, you know, but then he can't openly tell you that. He can't openly tell, and I mean you as far as a biological
I know
woman.
what you mean. I know what you mean.
He can't openly say that to you, because your immediate response is, did you get fucked? Did you suck dick? It immediately goes to that, and you don't know the experience. You don't know what type of experience it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one one of the reasons that might be, where a woman would be, her automatic reaction would be to be aggressive and weaponize and whatever else. But I think it's rooted in fear. I think everything is basically rooted in love or fear.
Fear, yes.
And I think the fear comes from, okay, look, if I'm dating a man, I got to worry about bitches. I got to worry about bitches coming after my man. But if he goes for a myriad of, if he samples from different platters, then I got to worry about everybody. And I think that's a scary thing for.
Can I tell you, as a transgender woman?
Please. Yes. Same concern?
We have the same concern.
Look at that. We just learned something else.
Can I tell you why we have the same concern?
Please tell me.
My presentation is female. Mm-hmm. What you like that beard for?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why are you liking that beard? What you like muscles? You at the gym? What you doing at the gym? Mm-hmm. So where you got to look at, or you thinking like this is just the girls. Mm-hmm. Now the girls over here like.
Yeah, no, same thing.
So it's just, I think it's gonna sum it up.
Okay.
It's the ownership. Mm-hmm. It's the femininity wanting to own all the masculine things. Mm-hmm. It's like owning them. We can't own it. We don't know what the fuck they gonna do.
Yeah.
Dicks get hard.
Once you get to a certain age.
Sister, dicks get hard. Well, shit.
There's medication for that.
Yeah. But dicks get hard.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes involuntary.
Dicks get hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that every man likes trans women. I don't believe that every man likes men. I don't believe that all men are gay. Mm-hmm. What I do know is that dicks get hard. And we don't know what situation is needed to get that motherfucker down.
We might have some idea, but not all.
No,
all
we know the idea is needed, but we don't know who there. I done seen Nick. Listen, when I was a prostitute on the street, I watched a nigga fuck a crackhead. That bitch had smoked the bolo, and me and that bitch got in the car together, and that bitch got in the front seat of that car with that man, and he rolled over, and she put that seat back, and she put her legs up to the seat. I was in the back seat with the guy's friend.
How big was this back seat? She rolled the seat back.
She leaned the seat back.
Okay.
It was in there, and I'm looking.
So you guys must have been just all up in the corner being like, oh, shit.
That nigga rolled over from the front seat and got over there on top with no rubber.
We probably have a whole episode devoted to the things that you have seen during that time in your life.
With no rubber, Melyssa.
You're telling me that men will fuck anything without a rubber. Listen, I know they will fuck a can of ravioli. Okay, they'll fuck a hole in
American
the wall.
Pie.
I'm clear
it was a whole
on
movie.
this. They'll fuck a sheep.
Yes.
Like, I know. We are clear.
So women have to stop centering men. You have to stop. Center yourself. Stop placing men at the center.
So funny you say that, because that is a moment. That is a movement that is happening right now, decentering men. I talked about it in an episode. Men came for me. Like, I'm trying to encourage women to stay single.
No, we don't want you to stay single.
But just develop your own life.
Can I back you up, sister?
Please do.
We don't want women. I don't encourage any, because I have tons of women. I don't want none of my women out there to be single. Mm-hmm. I want my women out there to be happy.
And love the right way.
I want my women to, because once you put yourself in the center, and that man navigates or gravitates to you and does whatever he does, if some fuck shit happens, it don't break you down, it don't tear you up, it don't deplete you, it don't just unravel you, because he wasn't the center. He might have been the head of household, but bitch, that's your house.
Talk about it.
That don't mean that you hate. I want my girls to love me and fuck on. It ain't nothing better than some good dick. God damn it.
It's pretty fucking fantastic
Ain't
when you
nothing
can
better
get it.
than some good dick. So I want you to know, but I want you not to lose yourself in that.
Yeah, but sometimes the dick is really good where you do lose
Girl,
yourself.
listen, motherfucker fucked me so good on my birthday, drug me all across the floor. and been right. My birthday was October the 22nd.
And you still talking about it.
And no, he over here said when I could come back, and I told her and write me said, "Do you love me?" No, nigga. No, it was my birthday. I wanted to get fucked down. I'm the head of household here. When I need that, I'll let you know.
Maddie, you're gonna have to become my godmother. You're gonna have to be my godmother.
I will.
I need a little bit of like, I need that person who's gonna come along and like kind of like verbally kick my butt.
I'm gonna verbally kick your butt. I'm gonna encourage you. If when you meet a nigga, you get what I'm saying. And if you want to fuck him, don't be sitting over here wasting weeks and months.
I will sit here and wring my hands and be like, oh,
girl, if you want to fuck him, don't wait 6 and 9 and 12 and 15 and 24 months and all this type of shit. And then you get into sex is awful. You like, what am I doing here?
Oh God, that would
because I wouldn't have been in the situation with that damn man over there if we would have fucked in the beginning. So you want to know about my mental health?
I do want to know about your mental health. You know what? There's so much symbiosis happening right now.
Be professional.
Yes, we are, because this was the next phase of my questioning. I wanted to talk. We've already broached the subject of manifestation, and we've talked about social media and how you weather, the viral storms and the criticism and that sort of thing. But not everybody understands what manifestation is. So when did you discover that this was, perhaps, for lack of a better phrase, a superpower of yours?
Well, I've known I was special for a very long time. Because I've been communicated. I call it the spirit.
Okay.
The spirit has talked to me since I was young. I first had the encounter with the spirit. I was like 8 years old, and I was in a room, and I was drawing some stuff on the paper, and I just heard whispers, and I was like, I was a little frightened at first because it was like, 14, I heard it incessantly say, because RuPaul was on TV, and I saw, you better work, turn to the left, work, turn to the right, sashay, shantae. And the spirit said, that's going to be your friend, and y'all going to work together.
Ooh.
14.
Yeah.
So you got to know how crazy it was for us, for our past
premonition.
But I wasn't shocked because I knew. Walking the streets when I was a hooker, or even when I was into poor, whatever, the spirit has incessantly spoke to me. It spoke to me and told me to go downstairs and rant. But that was for a Beyonce reason. It spoke to me about to turn out with TS Madison and how to get Monique. Every moment that has been public for the people, even the ones that are probably the public stuff that the people see, somehow the spirit told me to do something that was a catalyst to that thing happening. And so I started to take the voices that I hear and the things that I probably see in a dream or flashes, and I started putting it on my vision board. And I didn't really know much about vision boarding. I had seen people talk about it, but I started putting this stuff down. And when I go back and look at my vision board now, everything from networks to, I had Seth Rogen on my vision board.
Wow.
At TIFF, I was walking down the stairs and my dress got caught on something. And I felt a hand back there and said it was Seth Rogen moving my dress around.
But he's also a frequent collaborator with Judd.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I was like, I promise you, I said, oh my God. I said, oh my God, you're on my vision board. Oh my God. But it was so many other things on my vision board that I said, but it was just like that. I was like, let me just write. So now I'm very
intentional.
Yes.
Because you witnessed the power, and you're just like, oh shit, you can't just be all willy-nilly out here. Yeah, you got to be specific.
You got to be, yes.
Yeah, because if you don't specify,
you
get some raggedy ass version of what you asked for.
You get a son. What kind of man? I want a man, a tall man, a dark man, any man, and then any man comes. But you wasn't specific about, I don't want him to whoop my ass. I want him to have money. I want him to be mentally stable. I want him to be, if he has kids, I need him to be, you know what I'm saying? Like
you got to write this down, be specific, yes. Because I have manifested, just the any man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I got it.
You're like, nah.
No, this ain't it.
Same with the job.
This ain't
Same
it.
with your podcast. Listen, I do when we're traveling. There's a ritual. I get up.
Tell me.
I get in the shower. I light my incense, honey. I may put a candle in there, and I'm praying, like, dear Heavenly Father, them they she, whatever you are up there, in there, where there. Please, if you're not gonna move the turbulence, let the pilot have the mental capacity to know how to go around it, to circumnavigate around the turbulence. Let the wings be what it. And God, if we are not supposed to be on that flight, move the gate, shift the plane. I'm specific.
You sound like you're preaching.
I'm serious. Here's the thing. Yes, I'm a homosexual, transsexual, bisexual, quadrisexual, faggot, whatever. The people out there that's watching will put a moniker on me. Yes, I am that. But I'm also anointed. Anointed. Because everything that has come for me in my life, I spoke it.
How does that go over with the Christian folks?
Oh, honey, listen. Christian folks think they have this preconceived notion about what God is. And then they tell me they don't hear God. I can't hear God because I'm a faggot. So I can't hear God.
So you can't be anointed.
So I can't be anointed. God, he anointed T.D. Jakes, and T.D. Jakes got charges out here right now. But nonetheless, he's anointed.
It's the message.
Nonetheless.
Yes.
Honey, I was called to do what I'm doing. I was called. I was placed here. I was placed on the sidewalk. I was placed on the street. How many girls made it out from my time? I'm almost 50. How many girls made it out? I've watched girls die every year.
So is this the reason that you started TS Madison Starter House?
Yes.
This is the reason?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
Well, God bless.
This is your philanthropic endeavors.
God blessed me with that house because I remember God sent a man to me that made me want a house. So the guy I was dating, and when I think about it, he had a purpose. His purpose was to come there. We had sex. I loved him. He wasn't no good, but he motivated me. He pushed me to do something. He watered a seed that was already in my mind. If you a bad bitch, why you ain't got no house? I was like, oh. What does a Benz do? Where's your real estate? I was like, oh, nigga, you challenging me. Hold that thought. Well, I'll stop hoeing if you give me 20 bands so I can put down on my house. He said, hold that thought.
Oh. Okay.
There's a whole bunch of shit that I just, he wasn't no good. But
he was good for something.
But that. But it was, but the good that I thought that it was for, it was not for that.
Yeah.
When I bought this new house, because I just bought me a new house over here. It's 10,000 square feet.
Congratulations, darling.
Thank you, sister. It's 10,000 square feet here in Atlanta.
That is a lot of house.
That's a lot of house.
That's a lot of house.
That's a lot of house, yes.
I wouldn't even know what to do with
And
that.
I have a guest house in the back.
Oh, child. Okay. Move over. I'm coming to stay. Okay.
But listen, I kept that house. I could have sold that other house. But the Spirit told me, do you know how many firsts you are? Do you know what birthed in that house? Do you know how many people or how many girls like yourself need that? They may not specifically get exactly what I did, because all of my stuff comes from the Most High, that the Most High, gave you. They may not specifically get that, but they have watched you, and they're going to specifically get what I have for them. And they need that energy that I've put through that house.
I'm going to ask you one last question, then we're going to do some rapid fire. And then unfortunately, we're going to end this episode. But trust me when I say, y'all,
I'll be back.
This is the first of many. I love TS. I love her energy. I love her intellect. I love her, just everything about her. My last question to you, because you are so candid and you are so transparent, you're so authentically you don't really seem to leave anything off the table in terms of what people consume of you, what do you hold close to the vest?
Ooh.
What is something that is so personal, it is just for you and maybe a smattering of your closest, friends or family? What is something that you just keep privately for yourself?
A lot of my fears.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid that if I speak a lot of my fears out, that somebody would weaponize it against me. A lot of my fear. I don't let my people around me think that I'm fearless. I just don't tell them what my biggest fears are. Because I don't want that to be a weapon just in case something with us dissolve.
That's a very good plan. It's a very good plan because I, for one, have revealed fears that I have and have had it totally weaponized against me.
Yeah.
So you are on the right track with that. You were definitely on the right track with that. Okay, that was my last question. So we're gonna do a little
Rapid.
Yeah, it's a segment that we call Rapid Fire here at Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford. Okay, here we go. Miami or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Okay.
You don't want to know why? Okay, we'll go.
No, rapid fire.
Okay.
High value man or high earning man?
High value. High value man.
Shady Reed or square up?
Both.
I had a feeling you were going to answer it that way.
Both.
Okay. Acting in film or being a personality?
Personality.
A middle part bust down or bangs?
Middle part bust down.
Okay. Child, what? Drag race or balls?
Drag race.
Okay. Soul food or seafood boil?
Oh my God.
Right? I can't even
Oh my
decide right
God. Soul food.
now. Okay.
Because I don't really like lobster. I like shrimp and crab.
Crab.
Yes. Because I'm from Miami, honey.
Yeah.
But I chose Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. Queen's Court or PHAG talk?
Fag talk.
Okay. Cash or direct deposit?
Cash.
Cash is
But I
king.
will take direct deposit.
I'll take it all, honey.
Yes.
My Cash app is, I will
Yes.
take it all.
But I like cash though. And in this administration, in this regime,
Because that's what it is.
we need to start
This is a dictatorship.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to start collecting cash.
Yeah. This is
Immediately.
This is an autocracy.
We need to cut a hole in the wall somewhere.
Yeah.
And like Joe
Put it- or
Osteen's
yeah,
church did
yeah,
down
or put
there.
it in the old TV set.
Whatever Joel Osteen did down there at the church in Texas, how they found all that money in the wall, that's what we need to be doing. So all you Christians out there, honey, that's gonna say whatever the hell, go down there and knock a hole in Joel Osteen wall and get a couple dollars out the wall.
Maddie, TS Madison, I love you so much for making this interview happen. You are everything.
My sister girl.
You are everything. I love you so
Listen,
much.
we connected all them years ago.
We did. It was like 2016.
Oh my God, yes.
That's how long ago it
We
was.
had connected. I came and I was like, ooh, I'm in here with royalty, girl.
Yeah, you are.
Listen, we as a girl growing up watching the sex kittens and the goddesses, you were on the list of that, girl. And that's what the girls want to have their hair laid. They want to be, that's why I don't understand these girls walking around in here don't want to look like no goddamn woman. And don't get in her comment section with that bullshit because I'm going to be monitoring.
Thank you.
And tearing y'all ass up.
Thank you. The whole purpose of this interview was for everybody to learn, get some honey with your medicine, a little bit of an education.
Yeah.
I feel like the more that we have, we can have discourse, but as long as it's respectful,
Yes.
then
And sister, I don't know everything.
yeah, we're better.
I
off
only
for it.
know from the experiences that I had that
Yes.
I've had. And this is why I need to look into this camera and tell all my trans sisters that's gonna try to pile up. I will knock all you hoes out one at a time, bitch. Don't play with me. And that I mean, but I'm gonna also add a layer to that. Y'all know I'm from a different time. I learned different things, and I'm still open to growing. But I respect everyone's identity. I'm not invalidating anyone's identity. If you decide that you don't want to wear weaves or lipstick, or you want, and you say you're a trans woman, I believe you. But will the world?
Amen on that. We will get that round table together, just and bridge the generational gap.
Yes.
If you would, because we're both Gen X.
Yeah.
Got to get the millennials and the Gen Zs on board
Yeah.
and just have a conversation so that we have a better understanding of ourselves.
'Cause
Because
some of
at the
that
end,
shit-
we all blackety black.
Yeah, we blackity black.
That's it.
Some of that shit.
Yeah. I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. And you will find out as well. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford. Until next time. Thank you for tuning into Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford. Please rate, subscribe, and comment, and share wherever you get your favorite podcasts. This season of Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford is hosted, written, and executive produced by me for Forged Path Productions. This episode was written and produced by Sebastian Godin. Filming and editing of this episode is done by GVI Films and executive produced by Rachel DeSalvo.